When my girlfriend Renata and I moved in together, we agreed on one simple rule. Everything would be split 50-50. Rent, utilities, internet, streaming subscriptions, everything down the middle. We both earned about the same, so it seemed fair. For the first 8 months, it worked perfectly. But then something small changed everything. One Saturday, I came home after a 12-hour shift carrying 4 heavy grocery bags. I was exhausted. Renata was lying on the couch with a face mask on, watching her favorite show. I put the groceries on the counter and said, "Hey, could you start helping with groceries sometimes? I've been buying everything for the last 3 months." She didn't even pause the show. Instead, she laughed and said, "Groceries are a man's job. My dad always handled that. Be a real man." I stood there for a moment, surprised. "You're serious?" I asked. She waved her hand at the TV. "You're the man in this relationship. Act like it." Something clicked in my mind. If she wanted traditional roles, I could do traditional roles. "You're right," I said calmly. "I'll handle it." She smiled like she had won the argument. The next week, I went grocery shopping like usual, but this time, I only bought food for myself. My vegetables, my protein, my snacks, my drinks. When I came home, I organized everything in the fridge, and I labeled every item with a small sticker that said, "My food." On Monday morning, I heard Renata shouting from the kitchen, "Where's my yogurt?" "I bought my groceries," I replied. "You said groceries are a man's job, so I handled mine." She walked into the room, clearly annoyed. "That's not what I meant." I shrugged. A real man provides for himself. She left for work without breakfast. That evening, she came home with a small convenience store bag, yogurt, a sandwich, and chips. She had spent $14 on food that would have cost $4 at the grocery store. Meanwhile, I was eating grilled salmon with roasted vegetables. She looked at my plate and asked quietly, "Can I have some?" "Sorry," I said. "I only made enough for one." By the middle of the week, she had already spent more than $60 on fast food and snacks. My fridge was fully stocked. Her shelf had one expired yogurt. One evening, she tried cooking pasta, but when I came home, I noticed something. "That's my pasta," I said. "It doesn't have your name on it," she replied. Without saying anything, I opened the cabinet. Every single item had a label. My pasta, my olive oil, my garlic, my salt. She stared at me in disbelief. "You even labeled the salt?" I nodded calmly. A real man labels his provisions. 2 hours later, she came home with 8 grocery bags and a receipt for $230. Brand name everything. No coupons, no sale items. Over the next few weeks, a lot of that food went to waste. Avocados turned brown, chicken expired. She even bought a whole pineapple and couldn't figure out how to cut it. Meanwhile, every Sunday, I meal prepped my food for the week. Healthy meals, organized containers, and half the cost. Finally, one evening, she came to me and said, "Can we start grocery shopping together again?" I looked at her and asked one question. 50-50? She paused for a moment. "Yes, 50-50. But I thought groceries were a man's job." She sighed. "I was wrong. I was being lazy and unfair. Can we please just go back to splitting everything?" I thought for a moment. "One condition." "What?" "Never tell me to be a real man again." She smiled. "Deal." That Saturday, we went grocery shopping together. She pushed the cart while I picked the produce. At checkout, we split the bill exactly down the middle. On the drive home, she said, "I'm sorry for what I said. Watching you handle everything while I wasted money on gas station sandwiches made me realize how ridiculous that sounded." I laughed. "Yeah, it did." She threw a grape at my head. And ever since then, every Saturday, we go grocery shopping together. And thankfully, no one labels the salt anymore.